Those who, even when they're given the command, do not know how to reason and say, because we have seen it done, that let us do something else, let us try and reason with these people, let us use a different tactic, but not shooting these people. The deaths we witnessed in Kasarani were totally, absolutely, totally unnecessary. Worse still is the fact that we know that if Baba was in charge, if he was in power, if he was in control, and if he were alive, most of all, he would not have permitted that, or he would have opposed it and condemned it. So I'm praying for grace that our armed forces, our policemen, may have some sense in them to know that at this time of grieving, it's the last time that you need to resort to violence. But for all the people who will be traveling and who are already in Kisumu and who are going to be going on to Bondo, we are together in spirit, tuko pamoja. And God is going to be upon us. He'll be looking down upon us for the sake of Raila and for the sake of what Raila has done, Baba has done for us. And I'm praying that this day is going to be so good. Thank you again, my subscribers. I appreciate so much. I appreciate your continued support for the channel continuing to grow. Like I said, I've postponed the videos that I was supposed to do, the editing. I'm not in a frame of mind to do that. And I'll continue them after Baba's burial. Yes, so I've woken up. I woke up early because I want to follow up everything. I slept at night. I tried my own way on social media to uplift and to send my message and to show my feelings and my emotions and to stand in solidarity with everybody else at this time. And so today I got up very early so that I can witness everything that is happening. That is my way of showing solidarity. Every number counts everywhere. And that's why our numbers must continue to count until we go to the vote and change the system. I'll be talking to you in a while. I'm going to buy breakfast and also to get some medication for Skip, whose cough has not improved. I'm keeping him warm. I'm giving him warm foods. I've given him antibiotics, but I had not yet gotten for him real dog medicine to prevent the cough. So that's what I'm going to be concerned about. And then I'll talk to you later. Thank you for staying on the channel. Thank you for your continued support. I think I got so emotional. I didn't even watch for which side the light is on, but I thank you and I pray that you stay on and watch the video until the end. And please remember to like and to subscribe. Thank you. You see that I'm on the road, but I want to show you that although it rained, because it did not rain heavily, there was a bit of mud, but not so much that it's impossible for cars and for people. There's no stagnant water, only that it's good for the crops. The rain might have been light, but that is only in my eyes. In the eyes of God, it may be sufficient for the crops. This is the skyline for today.
Hard to express, truly live for today, drunk on one's delight. Worries of tomorrow, let them come as they might.
Skip. Come, Skip. Skip thinks we are going to the usual shop, so he had preceded me. Yeah, there he is. Come, boy. Yeah, so I'll first sort breakfast for myself, and because he's unwell, I'm feeding him as I feed until he gets better. That's what I do. Once he's better, it's back to the usual. Feeding once only per day and at night. Yeah, that's his cough. It's worrying me so much, but I've sent for some medicine, and if it takes longer than up to 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., I'm going to go and get it myself. My driveway, and I just wanted to show you that once it starts raining, the grass now starts growing on the lawn along all of this area. And once it starts growing now, if it rains heavily for like, even if it's just 3 days, now this is the light rain. It has rained lightly about 2 times in the past 1 month. So this is how the grass now has grown. So immediately it rains a bit more for like, let's say 2 continuous days, the grass is going to be unmanageable, and then I have to get someone to slash it. So the proceedings of the viewing of the body in Kisumu for the late Raila Odinga is ongoing, and it's going to be a long process because I can see that the Jomo Kenyatta Stadium in Kisumu is completely full. So I guess it's going to take a bit of a while. Unfortunately, I noticed, of course, what happened in Nairobi was so bad because people are even being told to run past. Our security forces are very insensitive. The leadership behind them, they really need to, I don't know, the organization is not good. It's not good. You cannot go to something as somber, as serious as the viewing of our former Prime Minister lying in state. And people have come to view him, to give their last respects, and then you tell them to run past. You herd them like cattle. You know, sometimes you get so irritated and angry at some things that happen in this government. Because I must call it the government. It's not civilians who are running the operation. It breaks your heart. It touches you to the core of your heart. Because what is this? Huh? How do you tell people to run past? So what you're doing is actually, you're not allowing them to give their last respects. You're herding them out, but past the body of the person they respected, the person they loved, the person whom they wanted to give their last respect. And these are thousands of people. What are they going to say? I went to see Baba on the day that they brought him home, on the day that he had arrived back. Were you at the stadium? Yes, I was, my child. But I ran past. And I had to run past because I was afraid. Am I going to be the one who is slow and get hit? Or am I going to be the one who is slow and cause a stampede behind, and then another shooting begins? It is so sad. And then I've seen you know, as a mother, your heart must break for other mothers. My heart breaks as a mother. And that is why I bring, not to raise, let me stop saying that I don't want to be political, because it is political. It is political. When you are standing up in duty to talk for those who cannot talk for themselves, or to talk against vices or wrongdoings or injustices, it must be political, because there must be accountability, and accountability can only come from the government in this case. Today, some of the people who went to check on relatives who had been shot at Kasarani at the stadium, they found that one of the victims did not have eyes. And for respect of the deceased and for respect of the family, I will not go on, but my sentiment and the sentiment of anybody sensible, of course, and anybody who knows what the world is, of course, that is organ harvesting. And it happened somewhere between delivery of the body and arrival of the body in the mortuary. But let us not go into that, out of respect again for the family. I pray that they will get justice. These are our children. These are misfortune that no parent, no family would have wanted to get. That your person went to pay their last respect to the person whom for years they have known and expected and prayed for to be the savior for their rights. And it is at the same place where they went to find reconciliation with the passing of that person, that they get killed, and even after death, their bodies are abused. Sincerest condolences to the families. So I've sat in the house and I've noticed that the proceedings at the stadium in Kisumu are going to take a while. And because I have my own feelings, I'm feeling sad about losing Baba. I do not want to sit still and do nothing. So I'm going to get medication for my dog Skip. I finally figured out why he's coughing. I powdered his coat to get rid of fleas, because before I used to wash him, but now he's a bigger dog and he always finds a way to get out of the compound and mingle with his friends. Of course, I mean, dogs have friends, and with other dogs in the neighborhood, and of course mating season, he'll always find a way to get out. And so he keeps on collecting fleas, and he's not as easy to wash as when he was younger. So what I did is I've been applying powder on his fur. But the last time that I did it, because I wanted to get to his underparts. And then after I had finished, and I applied a generous amount, because at that time I found he had a few big ticks around the head area and neck. He must have then licked himself, because of course dogs can lick their private parts. And I think that is what could have irritated him. And so I've considered that I should get him the neck hood or whatever it's called for dogs, so that once you apply something on his body that he's not supposed to lick at, you can prevent him licking for several hours or a day or two, until all that has already come out, and then you can let him stay freely, because he'll still be able to eat, but he just won't be able to lick himself. Yeah, I'll need to do that. So I've decided I'm going to go and buy medication for him. I gave him antibiotics. I had my own antibiotics, because I know dogs can work with human antibiotics. And so I gave him that in some soup, and I'm keeping him warm. I gave him a cushion to sleep on, because he's normally sleeping on the ground, and right now, because it rained, I know the ground is normally very warm, but just to give him extra warmth at night. And then I increased his feeding a bit more of warm fluids. So I woke up, I think around 1 a.m., fed him again. Every time I hear the cough getting a bit worse, I would get up, warm something for him, and give him, so that because he's in the outside, he can get a bit warmer. He doesn't have a kennel. I don't believe in the small kennels, so I'll have to build him a small dog shed. Everything relies on money, of course, but Skip is a family member, and the kind of kennels we have in Kenya, they are, in my opinion, they are so inhumane. They are small, and then they have an iron sheet roofing. And here in Ruai, it gets very hot. So I've bypassed so many homes and had dogs barking like they want to die, because they are left in those kennels. Sometimes the owners will go the whole day, so the dog is going to poop inside there. It's not even chained outside the kennel, because some dogs are strong. It's locked inside the kennel. This is a box of about 2 feet by 2 feet, maybe some of them are even 2 feet by 3 feet, or 2.5 feet by 3.5 feet. And then the iron roof is not very high, so the sides are wooden, yes, but now that dog needs to pee, it needs to poop, and it will do all that inside. Because when you lock it the whole day, it's not going to stay the whole day without doing all that. And what people forget is that once there's dirt in the kennel, it attracts ants, it attracts spiders, a snake might slither in. And so sometimes when I pass places and I hear dogs screaming in kennels, where possible, I have knocked on gates and asked people, could you please check whoever is left with your dog normally? Can you ask them to at least chain it? Just buy a chain, invest in a chain, lock the dog, but chain it near the kennel, but stop locking it in the kennel, because I always hear it screaming and you never know whether something has got inside in the kennel and you're out of the house. No. It's just lack of responsibility. And then there are people who have this mentality, because a lot of people just keep a dog. They don't know anything about dogs. They don't know about anything about cruelty to animals, or they pretend they don't know, because a screaming dog is a screaming dog. A crying dog is a crying dog. You cannot mistake it for unhappiness, just mere unhappiness of wanting to play. No. It is a scream of pain, a bark of pain, and I normally recognize it. So when you lock this dog in an environment that is smelly, that is dark, sometimes if it's at night, some of the people even go overnight, and that dog is locked up the whole day. The most they do is leave a bowl of water. And what people forget is that snakes can smell water. So if the dog has a bowl of water, and sometimes when the dog is frightened, if something frightens it or irritates it, especially if because of the poop somehow either termites or ants enter into the kennel, that dog is fighting for its dear life. The ants are climbing on it, or the termites. Yes, because it happens, of course, if the kennels are wooden, and some people place the wooden kennels on the ground. They don't bother to place on stones. Then termites do attack. And so it's left to the dog, because what you don't realize is that when you come and open for the dog, it will always run out. And not everybody is keen to check that inside there are termites, because they might be on the floor and on the dog and everything. But once they see sunlight, they disappear. And then at night, because you live in a place that is still very largely undeveloped, there are so many spiders, scorpions in Ruai. Okay, not big spiders, but some of these people, of course, I can see where they put the kennel is right at the corner of the compound, where it might be bushy, where it might be a bit foresty, where it might be dark. It's receiving darkness the whole day, the whole evening. It's in a shaded area, and night creatures like shaded areas. So it's very easy for a snake to slither in, to bite the dog, and you will not know. If you're so used to your dog barking, you'll never know whether it was bitten by a spider, whether it was bitten by a snake, whether the works. So people should be more careful. I'm also very concerned about cruelty to animals and animal welfare. Yeah, that's very important. If we are keeping pets, we need to keep them following some basic rules of comfort for the pets, making sure that at least we look after them with some basic levels of comfort and security, even for themselves. Yeah, so as I go to buy the medicine, I'm going to bypass a friend's house, because I'm feeling very melancholic and sad and low, and I don't want to be alone the whole day, to have my thoughts coming in, or just watch TV. No. So walking relieves me a lot, so I'm going to do a lot of walking. I could have actually taken a matatu or a boda boda, but I prefer to walk. So I'll talk to you when I get there. Today while walking, I'm finding a lot of very many such incidents of water pouring onto the road, and it looks like it's a lot of water that has poured. So let me tell you what happens. I know I've just come looking because I knew I'm going to find a place where it has been dug out. Yeah, and here is the place. So normally what happens here, this is vandalism. This is outright vandalism. What happens is that this must be a supply of water to people's houses, and there are people who don't want to pay for water supply, or they know where their pipe for supply of fresh water comes through. So what they do is that they find out where the pipe for the main supply of fresh drinking water bypasses, because we are not yet paying for fresh drinking water in Ruai. That is still coming until the paperwork is finished with the necessary suppliers, either Nairobi Water or another World Bank project. We are not yet paying for that. We have to buy. So they'll deliberately, a few unscrupulous people will deliberately come and perforate the pipe and make a shallow well, so that they are able to come and fetch or to lift up the pipe and drain the water. There are people who there might be somebody who will not like that I'm saying this on, but yes, that's what happens. And they know the hours when they'll come to fetch water there, and they do it very freely and very openly because, yeah, just because it's available for free, and they don't mind that they vandalized. But what that now does is that for the people who had already paid for piping before they realized that not everybody would be able to pay for piping in time, their water source gets disrupted. Let me just stop because of that music. Wow, look at these silver streaks like arrows shooting out of the aloe vera. From far, they're silverish. They look like they're painted. Oh my goodness, I was wondering what is this silverishness that is on this aloe vera. Oh wow, it's shooting right out at the top. No, on the side like a branch. This is so surprising. I've never seen this. Look at that. This is a strange phenomena. I told you plants interest me so much. This looks like some decorative piece. Oh gosh. Wow. God is so awesome in his creation. I've never seen this. But the aloe vera in my house has never grown this tall. You'll just have to pardon the music. So I wanted to surprise my friend, and I think they already went out to the family somewhere, so I didn't find anybody. I hadn't given notice. So I'm heading on to buy medicine for skip and also take a walk because it's refreshing me very well, and then the weather is still cloudy and cool. So I passed by to see my friend and I found she's not there, so I'm taking a walking on to go and buy medication for skip. And the walking is doing me good because the weather is cool, as you can see, and it's still cloudy and cool. The sun is not shining. Plus the air in Ruai, these roads are empty and wide, so there's wind passing through, so I'm feeling very fresh. And it's relieving me also mentally not to think too much sitting in the house cooped watching the TV. So this is the only tarmac road we have entering towards inside the inlets of the estate. From here, the next one is kilometers away. When I'm complaining about roads, now you understand. This is the only tarmac one, and it goes to join with Utawala. Yep. All the rest of the roads, there's no other tarmac road again. 4 kilometers within the residential areas of Ruai until you get to Machakos or Kamulu, but upwards this side, where there are more influential people and coming to the small township, there are where people with names and people with influence live. They put the roads are tarmac, but the rest of us, we have to do with maram roads. So yeah, that's where it is. That's respective. Kudos to that is respective of our elected leaders, because they get to decide about the budget. And we have cried for roads for very long, but they are not a priority to them unless they come and live there. I've arrived where the vet shop is, where I'm going to buy the Agrovet is. I'm going to get the dog's medicine. But while I was here, I came across this little shop that sells odds and ends, and then it has ex-European or ex-American imported goods. And shops that sell this, you find very unique things which you can buy for the house, which are imported and at a throwaway price. And so I found some trinkets that I wanted, and I'll probably come back again because my budget for today was buying medicine for skip. But I like the stuff that they have. You know, those of us who have relatives abroad, these are the things that we want, that we are not able to get. Unique little trinkets. Yes, we can get locally, but when you get in a shop like this, you find little fancy things, and which are so helpful around the house, like stuff like this, like I'd like this for my grandson. This is something that I'd like to buy because he's now getting to an age where he'll soon start talking. Then I can buy him a little booklet, games for the family, trinkets for display, just toys, of course, children's toys, pots and pans that are very good quality. We do get pots and pans, of course, on sale, but everybody wants something quality. So when we get these imported second-hand items, we get the quality that we want that we might not afford in the local shops. This is something that I'd buy for my grandson. It's a grinder I've been looking for so much. So yeah, I'm so grateful that I found this little shop, and I'll probably come back here again, but when I have money. And then the attendant here is so helpful. She's so kind. Like, I was going through the rack that has earrings and rings, because those are the things which I can afford maybe to take one. Look at something like this. It's so beautiful. You don't have to be a smoker, even if you put marbles or some other decoration in it. Very nice. So I'll still come back again. I just got myself a bit of jewelry. I think a ring, very unique stuff. A ring, a bracelet, and something else, and a brooch. But I'll definitely come back here again. And if you're in Ruai and you're looking for a place, this is in Block 10 area. Yes, Block 10 area, just near the shopping center. That's what I was doing, and I'm on my way back. And rather than take a matatu, I'm just going to walk back again. While the time away on the road, rather than get into the house and sit. I think by now they might have finished viewing, I'm not sure, But I'm also going to have a good night's sleep because I've kept myself busy. But if I stayed in the house and I was not doing anything physical, I might have another sleepless night. Hello, good evening. So I returned back. I've given Skip the medication. We are going to wait and see how that works. The viewing went well and it ended well. I arrived on time to find that it was just ending. It's a good thing that I took a walk to remove myself from too much emotion. And we are praying for the burial to go well tomorrow. Yes, we are praying for the burial to go well and for everything else to go very well. So it's coming to the close of the evening. It's getting a bit cool. There's no sign of rain right now, but we are thankful for everything that has gone well and that there were no calamities. At least as of now, I've not heard of any calamities, and I'm praying that it is going to remain the same. I've checked while I've started editing today's video, and while I'm editing this vlog, I've noticed that there's been a tremendous increase in viewership. Viewership is now at 6,000 and some. But the outpouring of love is so touching. The outpouring of grief is so touching. It's so touching. And I really want, and I also want to join in line to stand among the people that have given a lot of congratulations and thankfulness to the bishop who stood up to give the sermon about impunity, about bad leadership, poor leadership, about lack of concern for the mwananchi. We really need leaders like this to stand up, to be able to talk to us, and especially now when we are in the face of, I know soon after Baba's burial, we must go back again to protesting about inconveniences that are being done, that in the face of justice, they don't measure up. We must fight for Kenya. We must fight for Kenya's freedoms and Kenya's rights and the privileges of the people in general, so that there's seen to be equality and justice at all times, and even if not equality totally, but equitability. And we must have accountability from the leaders. That should not be negotiable. And so today I'm going to close this vlog here. I'm trying my best not to be emotional, but Baba's death has touched me. Why should I lie? I'm not a person who believes in hiding emotion, and yes, this is my time. I better mourn for him so that it doesn't leave a wound in my heart. Like I said, it's a political leader, but it gets to a place because he was a leader, he was Baba, he was our father. It touches to the heart, to the core, because so many of the ills that we are fighting are things that he set the standard for us, that he paved the way for us, and brought out the mere allowances for some of these rights, for some of these privileges to be in the constitution. And now we must fight for them to be instilled in the fullest of manner, so that we have fewer people suffering injustices that they shouldn't be. So I thank you again very much for staying on the channel, for watching. My apologies if today's vlog was not so interesting, but there was not anything to be of much interest except to cry for our Baba. Be blessed and continue to watch. Like and subscribe and keep on supporting. And on my part, I can only promise to give you entertaining, not only entertainment but education, positive education on this channel, to give you informative views to the best of my knowledge, what is true and factual, and to give opinions that I hope will not raise controversy. Thank you. And again, please remember to like and to subscribe and to watch up to the end. Be blessed.